Hi, everyone. I'm Eva Yazari. I'm the general partner of Beyond Capital Ventures, and I'm here with Steve Biko, the CEO of Zanifu. Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm good, Ava. How are you doing? I'm glad to be here.
Glad to speak with you. Are you in Nairobi today?
I am in Nairobi.
Awesome. Well, Zanifu is one of our most recent additions to the Beyond Capital Ventures portfolio. And it is, as I mentioned, based in Kenya. And I would love for you to just lead us off here, Steve. What motivated you to start the company, and throw in there for us what Zanifu actually does?
All right, so maybe I'll start with what we do. So Zanifu provides inventory financing for micro SMEs. So these are really small mom and pop shops. And what we do is we provide them credits to buy their inventory. And the reason this is important is most of these small businesses that make up about 80% of the businesses in Africa do not have access to financing. So that's what we do in a nutshell. We provide these small businesses with access to finance. And what motivated me to start Zanifu was really around seeing these small businesses not being able to access capital and actually leaving opportunity on the table. So from a personal level, I tried to start a smaller business before, and I went to the bank and I couldn't get credit. And seeing that, I was like, okay, if I can't get credit, and yet I went to school and I understand how to navigate the banking system, that means it must be difficult for everybody else. I worked in other tech startups in this part of the world, in Kenya, and I got to see the problem up close when selling, especially to small businesses in the consumer goods supply chain. So yeah, my co-founder and I decided to attack this space and try solve it. And we're still working on building a business that actually comes and fills this gap. And that's really our motivation.
Thank you for that. I love how you weave your personal story into the founding of your company. And I actually know one of the companies that you worked for previously, having been, in this space for over a decade. And so what I love is this is like next generation of talent doing it even better, potentially even bigger, and taking a model and making it more relevant. And that's what we love about your business at Beyond Capital Ventures. So tell us specifically, maybe walk us through an example. How does Zanifu impact micro SMEs?
So these micro SMEs, the way we impact them, so we find them and we look at how their businesses are set up. Now, they're very small businesses. They do not have financial statements, P&Ls, balance sheets, and they don't have collateral. So by virtue of us coming in there with our tech platform and looking at alternative data, we provide them with a line of credit and in essence, provide them inventory financing that way. Now, the impact is actually had when this business is actually able to buy more inventory than they would without us. And this allows them to grow the size of their business. And most of these small businesses are owner operated. So it allows them to actually feed their children, take their kids to school. And it has a direct impact on not only their lives, but the people who they rely on. Most of the small businesses we serve employ an average of 3 people. And you find that this is the main source of livelihood for Africans at the bottom of the pyramid. So that is how our impact is felt, by actually allowing people to improve their quality of lives and have a sense of being able to fend for themselves and have something that grows.
Just to unpack that a little bit more, I really appreciate how the salesperson sits almost embedded in the distributor. And
Yes.
so there is this kind of nature of knowing what the micro SMEs are selling, but give us a couple examples. What are they selling? What do they need inventory finance for?
So in this part of the world, if you think about what you'd buy from your big box supermarket, similar to Walmart in the US, or what you'd have, say, in UK, 90% of these consumer goods make their way to market through these small shops, right? So what it means is, think of your food basket. So your cooking oil, flour, sugar, rice, just the staples of what people need to eat is what these people sell, and this is how it gets to the citizens. So by being able to actually, come and sit in between that. So with our model, what we do is we find the supplier of this consumer goods, and we pay them directly, and they deliver the goods to the customer. So when we provide our credit, we're able to make sure that the money goes directly to actually buying the inventory, and it reduces the chance of the misuse of funds. And then we also know what exactly is being purchased. So by essence of doing this, we're able to make sure that we're giving good credit. And that's, I think, the space where we sit. And it's a tripartite thing. We have Zanifu sitting in between, the distributor salesperson who visits and sees the micro SME every day, and the actual owner of the business, right? So those are the three parties that actually are involved in the transaction. And it's a really difficult thing to do, especially in a fragmented market, which is sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, and I'd love to unpack that with you potentially on my podcast on season 4. It'd be great to have you as a guest so we can talk more about this. But just to give a flavor, what is your long-term vision for the company?
So in terms of where we sit today, we are using access to finance as our wedge into this small business. So there's something called the missing middle, which is really the bottom of the pyramid, these small businesses. And as much as there's been internet penetration and mobile phones have actually become ubiquitous, it's still hard to deliver technology and the leverage that technology offers to this subset of people. So our vision for Zanifu is really to make sure, number one, we provide access to financing. Now, by doing this, it'll allow us to take a peek into their business and give us a chance to introduce other value-adding products. So we're also looking at providing additional financial services. If you start with something just as basic as getting access to capital that doesn't involve trade finance, right? So if you need money, say, to make your shop bigger or to expand, or even getting insurance, like the insurance penetration in this market is less than 2%. So by virtue of being involved in their business from an inventory purchasing perspective, we will eventually gather enough data to be able to provide these additional financial services to these small businesses. And I think by doing this, we'll also be giving additional value to the huge manufacturers who actually try sell their goods downstream, but have no visibility as to what happens at the bottom of the pyramid. So we're seeing ourselves as the largest company in Africa that provides financial access to really small businesses.
Incredible. And you just raised the seed round, which we participated in. How will this seed capital support the company going forward? What will you use it for? Why did you set out to raise money?
So the nature of our business, which involves providing credit, means we have to go and find the financing somewhere. Now, with that comes the need to actually raise equity. So the seed round in which BCV actually led has also come with a $10 million facility from Variant Investments. So what this has done, it has unlocked a debt facility from a US lender who has really deep pockets, who can really grow with us as we continue to kind of pursue our mission for financial access. And it will also allow us to put the missing pieces in our business. So we're at the level where we are starting to hire senior team members. We had a CFO join us towards the end of 2022. So we're looking for the other pieces that go around that to enable us to build a sustainable business. We're very close to profitability. And once we hit profitability, our goal will be really to figure out, okay, how can we access more debt, but at cheaper rates to be able to pass on those savings to these really small businesses. The reason credit is so expensive let alone being scarce in this part of the world, is the risk factor applied. It's quite high. Like, a lot of people look at Africa as really risky. So we're looking to de-risk that. And I think the seed capital would enable us to get into position to be profitable, and raise a strong Series A, which will allow us to really start scaling across the continent, starting with this side of Africa. So an East Africa expansion, and then really moving towards the west of Africa. The same problem that exists in Kenya, the market we are in today, exists throughout sub-Saharan Africa. The nuances and risks that have to be solved for in different markets are really around regulation and understanding the cultural nuances. So yeah, I think this is really the anchoring point of us solving this problem, this seed round. So we're very happy and proud to have BCV on board.
I love that you're trying to kind of prove that the continent is not as risky as as people think. That is absolutely something we are aligned in at Beyond Capital Ventures. I often like to say, I think it's more risky to invest in Silicon Valley than it is in businesses providing access to need to haves in emerging markets like we do at Beyond Capital Ventures. And so I'm glad we are aligned and we can share that mission going forward. Now, just to wrap up, Steve, I'd love to get to know you a little bit better and more personally. So I'm going to ask you a question that I ask in the rapid fire of my podcast. What book is on your nightstand right now? If it's on your Kindle, that's fine too.
All right, so I do most of my reading on Kindle. I've learned to read on my phone, but I'm reading Chaos Kings by Scott Patterson. Really talks about thinking about what's the worst that could happen, and maybe it's because I've taken this mindset of always thinking about how to mitigate risk. But yeah, that's the kind of reading I do. I like financial books around technology, bios. I read quite a lot. Yeah.
That's great to hear. I'll check it out myself. So thank you so much for your time today. It's been an incredible conversation, and this is just a start for everybody who's listening to get to know Steve, to get to know Zanifu, to get to know the investments that we have in the Beyond Capital Ventures portfolio. So feel free to get in touch with us. And thank you again, Steve. Great to see you.
Thank you, Ava. Glad, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.